All right. So I am now looking at the flow track home screen, and where we're going is going to be the phone over here. All right. Now I went ahead and tried to register the 10 DOC ahead of time and bought a phone number, but I'm gonna do the whole process all over again. Okay. For those of you that haven't started, this number is going to be 0, and you just click here and we go to where we can buy numbers. All right. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So what we're going to do is go ahead and select this. And then by default, it's going to search our area code. And I'm in San Antonio. So it's going to give me some numbers that are available as well as the cost and so forth. Okay. And if you're lucky, you're going to see some that have a check mark that basically say they go through some extra verification. I don't see them in my locality, so it's not really a big deal, where that check mark is actually a verified number, clean, it's gone through the ringer. But I've never really had a problem just choosing any number. So I'm just going to choose one. You can scroll down and see if there's more. I'm not going to waste that time right now. I'm just going to select one. And then we get to name it. All right. Now, this can be whatever you want. You know, if it's going to be the main number, we can say main phone number, or if it was, say, to me, I would put Danny's number. If it was to Lisa, I would put Lisa's number. If I was putting it on Google, it would be the Google number. It's whatever you want. The good news is you can change it later. So it doesn't really matter that much. I also, because I like to put the number in the name, because sometimes, and since I can see it here on the left, or I'm sorry, on the right, 083, did I do that right? 393083. Okay. Because what's going to end up happening is when we purchase this number, it's going to put it in the chat inbox. It's going to create its own inbox. And so I like to put the number and what it's for in the name, so it's easy for me to just know what I'm looking at. It's not really a big deal. Caller ID display. So this does matter. And in this case, I'm going to put the name of our business. Okay. And there we go. Destination. This is where we get to decide if we want it to forward, even though we don't set up the forwarding yet, or if we want it to ring in the app. And this is a great opportunity to explain the difference. Okay. So we have a choice, right? The way that I was discussing earlier, which is a forwarding, you would basically get this number and it would work like many other systems. That number, you put it wherever you need to put it, you text people from it, and when they call that number back, all it's really going to do is transfer that phone call to whatever number we configure here in a little bit. All right, that's option number 1. Option number 2, which is the web phone, means that instead, it's not going to forward it anywhere. It's going to stay within the FlowTrack ecosystem, that call. So the FlowTrack's not in the middle and sending it somewhere else. It's just going to stay in FlowTrack. And what that means is that it's going to ring here in the browser. And if you have the PWA app on your phone, it will ring on your phone. You'll get a notification. All right. Now, I can tell you this. I prefer the forwarding only because I believe it's simpler for customers to understand that they just pick up the phone with their normal number rather than putting an app in it. But really, it's just dealer's choice. However you want to do it is fine. I like the forwarding way, but I'll tell you what, there are some really cool features if you do it the web phone way. And there's always more things being added. One example of doing that, of the FlowTrack web phone way, is that you can make the phone ring in multiple places. Like let's say you have a sales team. You can have a phone number just for sales, and using the web phone, you can make that ring to a group of users in here, which is really slick. Now, keep in mind, in that way, they have to be using the FlowTrack PWA app, or they need to be logged into their browser with speakers and a mic. Okay, so for advanced people, that's great, but I personally deal with a lot of mom and pops. I don't want to put an app in the middle of them if they're not too technologically inclined. I just want them to pick up the phone. So for me, I prefer, in my use case, to just let them do the call forwarding way, which is how I'm going to set it up for you guys now. Now, in a further in a later training, we will do a full web phone configuration, okay? But I want to keep it, I want to give you guys one way so there's no confusion. All right, so I'm not worried about where it's going to ring right now. I'm just going to put no destination. You can tag the phone number. I don't get a lot of phone numbers, so I'm not really worried about it. And then we can record inbound phone calls, but keep in mind that it's not as simple as just checking this box. You have to enable it in multiple places. Now, if you are going to record inbound calls, make sure that it is compliant with your state. Every state is different in the US. Some places are a one-party state, meaning only one person needs to know on the phone call. Some states are a two-party state. All right. When in doubt, don't record, you know? So now we've got our phone number. And here are some very, very basic. You can see why I put the number there. Here we can also record. That's the extra step when we want to record it. Okay. And we also have the ability to enable SMS and MMS. And that is where the 10DLC comes into play. All right. So by clicking these boxes, we are going to start the 10DLC process. Now, this is a US-based system. It's changing all the time. So just use what I'm showing you as guidance because it could always change. All right. And there are some best practices to making sure you get a fast approval. I've seen it work as quick as 12 hours, but I've also seen it take 24 hours. I've also seen it take a few days. And all FlowTrack is doing is collecting your information for you and just giving it to the carriers. The carriers are the ones that are making the decision whether to approve you, and they're the ones that control the time frame and everything like that. Okay. And I will say that for me, it can be a little bit of a frustrating experience, but that's the carriers. I mean, you know how they run their networks, you know, especially when they're in charge. So let's go ahead and get started with this right here. So the first thing we want to do, we're always going to do, which means it's a mix of these things here. Now, the most important one for us is marketing. If you're going to be sending marketing messages, you need to check this. But I figure, heck, I got 5. Let me choose 5 just in case I want to use them. So not very many people use it, but we do some 2FA in some sensitive industries, especially if it's like a paper lead kind of thing. We do send account notifications, maybe a link to a password reset. We definitely do customer care. And those are the 4 that I do. But I figure, hey, you know what? Delivery notification, even though that's for shipping, I kind of repurpose it and say, hey, your subscription may have renewed or whatever. But the most important one is definitely marketing and customer care, because that's really what most businesses are going to do. Okay, so I'm going to hit next. The next thing is we need to put in our brand. Okay, so this is very, very important. All right. You want to use the legal business name that you registered your business with. Okay. And for you sole proprietors, you can put your sole proprietor name. But if you are an LLC and have an EIN number, which if you don't know what an EIN number, then you're probably just a regular sole proprietor. An EIN number is like the Social Security, but for a business. You have to put in that number. Okay. So I'm going to hit next. And we already had our EIN number in here. That's why it allows us, and put in the information that matches your registration. That is important. The number one reason for getting rejected from a 10DLC standpoint is they are taking this information and matching it up against a database of legal corporations. And if the EIN number and the name of your business don't match those records, you might not get approved. Okay, so you have to be very meticulous in making sure that when it asks for your address, your EIN, and your legal business name, that it matches exactly. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Now here, what the carriers want to know is, are we compliant? All right. Now there's some pre-typed messages here, and I like what's here in the opt-in message. It's basically saying, thanks for subscribing, type stop to cancel. But the opt-out message, I like to make a little bit of change. I like to change this to how to restart. So I change the start to stop, and then I change this from cancel anytime to subscribe. Okay. Business name is there. The default's pretty good. So we're going to hit next. Now we're basically having to answer questions for the phone companies. Okay. Please type a description of business reasons why you need to send SMS and MMS. Now, I'm going to say some of these questions don't make a whole lot of sense even to me, but I do the best I can. Okay. I'm just going to tell you what I put. So please type a description of the business reason. We are texting our customers to provide account information. Now, I'm answering these, by the way, as if I am the business that is registering. So right now, I am pretending I am a white label selling to other businesses. Keep that in mind. If you're subscribing let's say a restaurant, you want to put on that persona and answer those questions as if you are them. So we are texting our customers to provide account information. So in a restaurant case, you may say, we are texting our customers to provide specials that they have opted into. We're basically showing that we know the rules, if you follow. Okay, so we are texting our customers to provide account information and to give specials that they have opted in for. Okay, I think that's pretty simple. I say more information, the better. Okay. What type of customers do you plan to message? I interpret this as, are they retail? Are they, in other words, are they consumers? Are they B2B? And so I like to say we are messaging business owners who want to use our service to connect with their customers. Kind of answer the same thing, just in a different way. Okay. How is sending messages important to you and your customers? Be honest with you, I don't quite understand the question, but I do my best to answer it since we have to do this. So, how is sending messages important? I say the same thing, just differently. Our customers have asked for this information to, let's make this up, to stay current with our software and features. We use it to provide customer service and ensure customer satisfaction. And I'm just making this up, by the way, but this is really my mindset every time I do this. Okay. How do customers opt in? Now, this is important. Okay. This is probably the second most important thing about the 10DLC process. They want to make sure that these people are opting in, and they want to see proof that you have that system in place before they enable you. All right. So what I do is I created a form. Okay. I posted this in the Facebook group. And what I do in the form is, this is in this account. All right. The account that I am registering. I have it in a blueprint in my white label, but take a look at it, take a screenshot, go look in the Facebook group. This is what we have. All right. I just created a form. Excuse me. And keep in mind, this form should be used. I don't want you to make a form and just put it up there for show. Use the form that you're actually going to be using for opt-in. And the most important thing is this right here. All right. So I basically put information that all the compliance laws really want you to say, to saying they are opting in, and we're saying messages frequency, which I have here, message frequency may vary. They like you to say message and data rates may apply, and then how to get out, stop or unsubscribe. So, to be honest with you, I just happened to opt in years ago, and I love the way they worded it. I copied it, I saved it, and I have it here for you guys to see. All right. So what I do is, once this form is live, you can either go ahead and put it on a website for your customer where people are going to opt in, and then give that URL. Or what I do, since I do let people opt in with this, I will grab the URL where this form lives, and then I will put it in here. Okay. And you can see the warning goes away. Another way, and I want to be clear, they want to see written approval. You can't just say they tell me verbally, because technically, that's not the way to do it. They want to see it on a website. They want to see a number that they're calling or texting to say sign up or something like that. So, another option here is you can put the phone number. Ironically, the phone number is the very same phone number we're trying to do. So you could put the number you just registered here. I put the URL of the form because I do modify that form and let my customers use it to get people to opt in. Okay. So I'm going to hit next. Now you get to choose basically your type of business. Now, since I am doing this for us, I already know that ours is professional services. But if you're doing it for your customers, choose the one that most likely applies. Okay. And then what they want, this is the third most important thing, is they want to see 5 sample messages of what you plan on sending. And I encourage you to put what you're going to really be sending here, because I personally am of the belief that if you're declaring it, your messages are more likely to get through. I hope that makes sense. If you're just going to put very generic stuff here and that's what you're declaring, and then you start sending a lot of marketing traffic, they may not like that. They may just say, you know what, you didn't give us an example that reflected your approval, and maybe that'll hurt your trust score. But I really do believe in transparency because they know what we're going to be sending. So let's put it. Now, you can see that Mike gave you some good little guidelines when you kind of hover over them. And they're really good starting points. And make sure at every single one of these at the end, put this reply to stop right here. Put that in the bottom of each one. I'm really grateful that FlowTrack had the foresight to make sure they're there, because they want you to get approved. FlowTrack is not the one that's denying our 10DLC registrations. It's the carriers. And so FlowTrack is constantly making improvements to try to increase our chances of getting through. Okay, so let's look at my cheat message here. Hi, this is Mike. Want to see if you could book a call tomorrow, 3 p.m. Yeah, that sounds great. And he put a URL. Okay, so let's put, hi, this is Danny. Thank you for purchasing FlowTrack. Okay. Here is my calendar link to book an appointment. Like, that is actually something I would say. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a domain that fits for what I plan on using in the system. So if like with Lisa and I, ours is my.agencyremix.com for people to log into our system. So that's the URL shortener we use too. So I would put my.agencyremix.com, Danny, whatever. I'm trying to show to the carriers that I'm using the same root domain if I plan on sending URLs, which most of us do, because links have a tendency to be filtered if it's a shared domain. So I don't use Bitly, I don't use any of those. I want my own, and FlowTrack gives us that. It's one of my favorite things about FlowTrack helping us increase our deliverability. All right. So there's a URL. Now I'm going to convert it, since this is a FlowTrack training, flowtrack.co, and maybe we'll just put calendar, whatever. Right. Very good. Now you notice I still have an error. So I need to put the reply, whoops, hit the mouse. Reply to stop. Let me make it match exactly to cancel. There we go. Now we're good. Okay. Next one. Let's see what Mike put. Can you send me your logo to design your site? So if you do use it for communication to build websites, that's a good example. I don't. So maybe what I'm going to do is, let's make something up. Here, I send a lot of coupons. Here is your coupon that you requested. It is for, let me do it right. It is for 20% off your next purchase of SMS credits, whatever. You know, put my reply to stop. Okay. Next one. Let's see what Mike put. I'm going to email you invoice to pay, so you can do that. If you ask for invoices, that's a good example. I'm going to say, here is your password reset link, and I'm going to put another URL. I like putting URLs in here because I want my URLs to get through. my.flowtrack.co and password reset, whatever. I'm making it up. The URL really doesn't matter, but the root matters. Okay, so we're going to put our reply stop to cancel. All right, now we got our third. Fourth, let's do something promo-y. Let's say, hey, we haven't heard from you. I don't want your discount to expire. And this is actually stuff that I use. That's how I'm choosing these words. I want you, when you are registering for your customer, to actually think about what they're going to be texting. Okay. And the things that get filtered out more than anything are marketing messages. The thing that get filtered out more than that are marketing messages with links in them. So if you notice, I am trying to show I send links. Please don't block it. I'm trying to put discount coupon in here. All right. I'll be honest. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but I okay. Want your discount expire? Let me know if you need or if you have any questions. Reply stop to cancel. All right, next one, last one. Okay. Can you give me a call so we can help? Great. I like putting the phone number in here. That's a great idea. So here is my direct number if you have any questions. And I'm just going to put a number there. Okay. And you could put the real number there, which may not be a bad idea. Reply stop to cancel. All right. So I think we're good. Now, this last step is important. Now, for most of you, not all of you, these presets are fine. If you are in the mortgage industry or you deal in lending, you're probably going to want to change that. You know, they're trying to identify if you're going to be doing certain things that they're really finicky about. So yes, we do have a subscriber opt-in. Absolutely. If you don't, they may not even approve you. Do we have a help trigger? We actually do. It's already pre-built in. Thank you, FlowTrack. We do not do direct lending or loan arrangement, but if you do, you make sure you turn this on. Do we use embedded phone numbers? Yes, we do forward. So I choose to leave that yes. I like the default. Age-gated content. Ooh, this one you need to read up on it if you are dealing with the alcohol, tobacco, CBD. You know, some traffic is prohibited at certain levels, but there are some ways to send certain types of messaging where you have to be either over 18 or 21. I'm not going to guide you on that because that's a very slippery slope. But if you are dealing with anything alcohol, tobacco, firearms, gambling, anything like that, you are going to want to turn this on. Okay. I do not do that. So I'm going to leave that off. There's easier ways to make money. Subscriber opt out. We absolutely have that. That is the stop. Okay. Number pooling. It's no, we don't have number pooling here in the system at this time. Maybe one day we'll be able to do that, where for those of you that know what that is, that's basically allowing a rotated number that changes with each visitor to do keyword tracking. Embedded link, yes, that is a URL shortener that forwards. Since we have that built into the system and I use it every day, I leave that on yes. And I do not use this account for affiliate marketing. If you do, you need to turn that on to yes. Okay, so now I'm going to hit next. And then we're basically being notified about our fees. Now, this is US. Okay. And so I'm only showing you the US. It could be different in different areas. You know, I've heard that there may be some fees coming to Canada. I don't live there, so I can't guide you. But these are the US things. Basically, what it's saying is we are agreeing to these fees. And let me explain them. So there is a setup fee of $15. All this money, by the way, goes to the campaign registry. Okay, this is not a flow track fee, just so we're clear. And we pay 15 bucks for the company to review our application or a setup fee. And then we pay $4, I believe, unless it changed recently. It used to be $4 for a brand verification fee. Like I said, these fees change all the time, but those fees are one time. The one we need to be aware of is the reoccurring. For me, it is $10 a month. Okay. Now, I'd like to point out that these fees come out of the messaging or the bank of this customer. When they put in their credit card to buy SMS and email credits and phone numbers, they have a balance. That I call the bank. That is where this fee comes out. So you want to make sure that there's a credit card in the system before you even get into this process. Now, I'm going to agree to it and hit create plan. All right. And then to see the status, okay, I'm going to go back to phone numbers, and this SMS plan is where all that lives. Okay, you could see I submitted one yesterday. It hasn't been approved yet by the pending. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I already have one going. And what happens is we are waiting for the carriers to basically give us the okay, right? This is the brand. This is the plan. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide mine over. And you could see when you are active, you know you are fully approved. Okay. So that is how we do the 10 DLC registration. And that took a whole 30 minutes for up to now. So I don't have a lot of time about best practices on how to get through that. But I really want to make that one of the first trainings once we're done with the Fast Track with Flow Track series. We're just trying to get you up and running. Okay. So now let's get to building. All right. Because I don't have an active plan, and a good key to know is that when you go to phone numbers, if I want to start texting and building out campaigns, I have to hit enable. Well, because I don't have an active plan, it wants me to register again. Don't do that. Just wait for the other one to be approved, or it will say something to the effect of rejected with a reason, and that'll give you an idea on how to resubmit to get approved, whatever they had a problem with. And if it's very vague, it's coming from an API from the carriers, get with support, start a chat message, and they could help you. All right. So now let's go ahead and get to the next part. We're going to do a missed call text back. Now I'm going to my account only because I have an approved one, and I want you guys to see. And let me jump in. Okay, so when we start, actually, I want to start from scratch because I want you to see something that's very important. When I hit new workflow, we want to select an incoming phone call. All right. And we're going to select. And now we have a automation. This is where we get to control things. Okay. So I'm going to set up first how to forward it. All right. So this is still part of the basic setup. And then I'm going to add the component of the missed call text back. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a transfer call. Okay. And please hold. This is what's going to happen. The phone call is going to ring. It's going to say, please hold while I connect your call now, you can change it. Select a text to speech. I don't like messing with stuff. I'll just go ahead and during that. And then we need to choose an extension. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, you can see we play around quite a bit here. I'm going to choose other phone number. That is how we forward. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put in the number we want to forward it to. This will usually be the business number. And then this is important for missed call text back. We are basically declaring here, do we just want to transfer them? And when you just transfer them, it is just considered a connected call. All right. That is the default, because I want to be clear that the system cannot distinguish between a human picking up and the voicemail picking up. So when the voicemail picks up, to us, to humans, that is a missed call. But the system can't tell the difference. It doesn't know who picked up. So to get around that, what we want to do is create a number for them to press. Okay. So what's going to happen is it's going to ring, and whatever picks up, we want them to press this number to accept the call. Okay. So what we're going to do is call from FlowTrack or your business, press 1 to connect. And then I'm going to hit save. So what we just did, a call's going to come in, it's going to forward to the business, they're going to pick it up, and before the call is live with the customer that just called them, it's going to say call from FlowTrack, press 1 to connect, and they have to hit 1 to connect. If they don't hit the 1, it is considered a missed call to our system. Okay. So we are going to hit save. All right. So now this is where it gets cool. Transfer call. And then when it transferred, we just want it to hang up. So that's after a successful transfer. But the no answer is where we can put the missed call text back. So we're going to send an SMS in here. And there's multiple ways of doing this. I'm showing you the easy way. So we are going to basically say contact owner. Nope. We want it to go to the contact phone. So the defaults are good. We're going to choose a number. These are just a bunch of play numbers for us. And then here is the message we want to put. Remember, this is an SMS to the person that called when it didn't connect. Hi there. This is Danny with FlowTrack. I am sorry. I missed your call. Is there something I can help you with? Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and make that a capital. Let's do this right. Oops. All thumbs today. Okay. I do like to leave the reply stop to cancel. It's just part of giving compliant messaging. If people don't want to hear from me, I want them out. This way they don't, they don't complain. All right. So now we've got our text. This is the no answer. In other words, if they don't hit the 1 when it's being transferred, accepting the call, it's going to go down this route. And then maybe what we're going to do is we're going to get a voicemail. All right. So let me see here. I am blind. Here we go. Capture voicemail. Same thing, text to speech. I'm good with the default. Please leave a message after the beep. Good old Sally's going to be my go-to. Go do that. And then we are going to put this here. Now, it's important that when you're building a phone, this is always the last step. If you put like a text or anything after that, it's not going to execute. All right. So keep that in mind. So let's connect it. Let's name it. And we are going to say call forwarding with missed call text back. Now, I can tell you, because I use missed call text back in multiple places, what I do is I build an individual flow that has no trigger. It's just a flow with nothing more than the SMS. So it's just this arrow, the SMS, and then the end, the hang up. And then what I do, instead of putting this SMS here so I don't have to rebuild it and retype it every single time, I like to put the add to flow. So let's just pretend that was there, right? And then the one that I build for the missed call text back, let's just pretend that's it. It would look like that. So now whenever I want to do a missed call text back, I just add it to that same flow. So I don't have to build it 5 times if I have 5 different extensions. All right. So that's just a little trick, but essentially they work the same. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, publish, and we're good. Now, to really make this work, now I need to connect the phone number to this automation. So we're going to go back to phone. We're going to go over here to phone numbers. Okay. And then we're going to select the phone number. This one's not even being used because this is a play account. And see, I am back to where I have everything enabled. All my keywords are there that came by default. But look at what I'm looking at here. Okay. And of course, LastPass wants to get in my way. Let me disable it. Hold on. Let's just remove it. Gets on my nerves. All right. So now these are the web phones, but if you scroll down, these are the flows that I have selected. This is the one we just built. So this means that when anyone calls this number, it is going to go here. And since I set up that flow, going back to the flow, it's going to work like this. Phone call rings, it comes in. It's going to say, please hold while I connect your call now. Obviously, I would say something to the effect of, thank you for calling FlowTrack. Let me connect your call now. Whatever's clever. It's going to forward to this number, which would be the normal business's number. And then I want them to hit 1 if I'm going to enable missed call text back. If you don't care, pros, I'm giving it a second. There we are. If you don't care about missed call text back, you can disable this. Okay, you can just instantly transfer, which means that it's always going to go there and voicemails are left on their phone, which, to be honest with you, is my preference. I'm going to speak, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and they wouldn't be wrong, is that because you need to make a choice. I've never really seen a whole lot of missed call text back recover a lot of phone calls. It does happen. What I see is a lot of spammers calling, a lot of people not responding to the missed call text back because they're spammers. And so when my customer sees all these missed call text back, they see it not working and they think it leaves a little bit of a negative impression. Okay. And I prefer, and a lot of people will disagree with me, you know what? If someone's going to leave you a voicemail, I'm not going to change where you check it. Just get it with a phone, which already has a voicemail, whether that's your cell phone or your business anyway. I try to change as little as possible. Now, are you wrong for doing it differently? Absolutely not. A lot of people love selling the missed call text back. It is cool. But to me, and only me, it's really more of something that sounds cool, that I prefer to not change where their voicemail goes. I prefer for them to get my system for something that actually matters. So that's just how I feel. But I wanted to show you, because the missed call text back does sound really sexy, but if you pay attention to it, and if your customer pays attention to it, they're just going to see 20, 30, 40 phone calls that are spam and a text and nobody replies. And they're just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I didn't need that. So if that's a big part of your business, if that's your main selling point, be mindful of that. It's not mine, so I really don't care if it's in there or not. But I don't want to change where they get their voicemail. I want to change as little as possible. That is my approach. Okay. And I think it works for us. The least I change how they do things, the better off in our system, my system. Okay. So we are good. We have it connected. We created a missed call text back, and I am going to go ahead and convert this now to an IVR. Okay, same concept. So instead of just directly taking them to a transfer, I'm going to move all this down. Lisa?
Yeah, we just have some questions and I think they're related to what you've already done. Do you want to do those now or at the end?
Let me finish the IVR. I normally say yes, but I want to make sure I get through it. We only have about 17 minutes. So
Sounds
let me
good.
finish the IVR and I'll answer as many as I can. Thank you. All right. So what I'm going to do, instead of immediately transferring, I am going to get the IVR multiple choice. And this is a super cool feature. Now, here we need to type what we want it to do when a person calls, what we want it to say. Press 1 for sales or 2 for support. Okay, and let's just go ahead and honor that. And then we may say press 3. I'll just type it like this so it's consistent for an operator. Okay. Good old Sally's my go-to. Number of retries. In other words, how many times are they allowed to try to put in a correct entry? The timeout, if they press nothing, is 30 seconds. Text to speech. I'm good with everything. And then here, since we're using 1, 2, and 3, we want to enable those three extensions. Hit save. And now you could see we have 3 different paths plus the timeout if they type nothing, which is a great place to take a voicemail or a missed call text. Okay. Now you can click and drag and put this over the line. You can see it highlight. It'll automatically insert it. But this is another way. I can just right click and hit delete, put that in, connect it, and let's pretend this is sales. All right. So we're going to take them to sales. And then we can do the same thing. I'm just going to duplicate this. And this will be for support. Okay. And then let's pretend, I think we said 3 would be an operator. So we're going to make 3 the operator. Now, don't forget, you'd have to go in here and change where they ring if you're forwarding. And then what we can do is kind of follow the same sequence. So we can just click that over here for no answer. Whoops. I just noticed they are different. So we're going to go no and hold on. Let me move this. Okay, that's better. Now I can read it. I got confused there. So we're going to go no answer, and then all the no answers are going to go down the same path. And then the transfer is going to automatically go to that number. So all we need to do is terminate it now. The call went through, they accepted it. So that's a very, very simple IVR. Okay. And a little hack for you guys. Let's say we're using tags. I'm going to put in a check. Oh, something very important, guys. I almost forgot my own rule. We need to put a lookup contact in there because if not, it's always going to duplicate. So since people are calling in with their phone number, always while you test things, we're looking to see if we match their phone. Let me put that in the middle there. So now, check this out. Now it's checking to see if they are a known contact. It's really for deduplication, so they can both go here. That's so we don't get duplicates. But let's say we want to go a different route if they are a new customer, or maybe they signed up for specials, or maybe they have an overdue bill. Okay. So what we can do is put in, and I'm not going to build it because we're running short on time. We can put a logic step, a condition, and then we can go in and check the contact or a tag that has billing. And I don't have that in there. And then it would be checking for this tag. I don't know if it'll let me save it. Save. And now I may have, let's pretend this is a billing. I'm going to duplicate this. Let's pretend this is the billing department and I make this phone ring the billing department. Now, what we can do is put this here in the middle. And if it's no, if they don't need to, if they don't have that tag, we want them to go here. But if they do have that tag, we want them to go to billing. And then maybe with no answer, take them to the missed call text back. Then if it transfers, hang up. It's kind of messy. I spend a little bit more time organizing this, but you get the idea. All right. And that's that's the power of building with an IVR. And I am open for questions because I'm trying to keep these under an hour and we got about 10 minutes. Lisa, I'm ready for you.